Hello, guys. It's episode 18 of the Medellin podcast.
18.
I see why you're an accountant.
And musician. And a rapper.
Oh, yeah? Spit
You're
some.
a rapper?
In the Medellin podcast.
Well, hit us with the freestyle, Vinny. Freestyle some shit.
Here we are in the Red Door studio. What you want, man? I'm just looking fucking cutie, yo. It's fucking 3 p.m. on a Saturday day.
People
What you wanna do? That's how we play with the Jägermeister and the Corona on it. I'm a Ruby guy, a Ruby blondie. What you wanna do? My shit is so untimely. We gonna kill this podcast. It's gonna be number one, motherfucker, while we having fun. Yo, Messia on the fucking chords. Joel and the fucking boards. Basketball, football, baseball, to J Balvin, to fucking Manila. What you wanna do? Yo, we keep it thriller.
Oh, shit. I don't know if I could pick up after where you left off, man.
But you could try.
But I could try.
All right.
Taught him everything he knows.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, it's episode 18 of the Medellin podcast. My name is Andrew Messia, as usual. I'm over here with the Dark Knight.
A.K.A. Batman. A.K.A. the cave dweller.
Where'd you get those glasses from?
Dude,
You wear those.
They look good on you.
I'm telling you, man. Everything's looking
great.
good
Oh, those
since
are
I got
Vinny's?
the beard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These look
You know
good.
what I mean? Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
welcome to the,
It's the first
to the
guest.
show.
The first guest that ever
That
brought me a
actually
present.
brought a prop.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
present.
it's Christmas time.
A present.
You know what I mean?
Rain it out.
Yeah, here we are.
Welcome.
Christmas
Go ahead.
fucking-
Yeah,
Take it away.
welcome to the
Take this
podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can also listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and all of the major podcast networks or platforms.
And if we ain't on one, tell us so we can try to get on there.
Right. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Again, I'm Andrew Messia from the Medellin Buzz. And today on the Medellin podcast, we have our very good friend and our CPA
Yep.
And our Lord and Savior.
and our Lord and Savior,
So they call
Jesus
me.
Christ, up
Jesus
here.
Christ.
Jesus walks.
Jesus.
All hail.
Yeah.
So, Vinny, the premise here is that we're going to be asking you some questions, obviously some serious questions and some fucked up questions. And anytime you hear the alarm, that means we have to take a shot.
Okay.
And what are we
Fun.
shooting today,
Wait,
Joel?
who are you? Vinny? That's Vinny?
It's Vinny Vincenzo, the online taxman, aka Raw Deluxe, aka.
Raw Deluxe.
So it's funny because you said the Dark Knight, and when I grew up, I was in a rap group called the Dark Knights.
Really?
And my rap name was Raw Deluxe.
Oh, shit.
Wait,
So like, thank
what's
you for bringing that back to me.
what's the name? What's the name?
Raw Deluxe.
That's
Raw
it?
Deluxe?
Is that you?
Raw and this is me.
Yo, you're repping
That is you.
DJ
That's
shirt.
a Raiders.
That's you.
You got a Raiders hat on. That's
Yeah,
great.
totally.
You.
This is me with a t-shirt
That's
of me.
DJ Raw Deluxe.
Yeah, this is DJ Raw Deluxe right here.
Go Raiders.
You know what I'm saying?
DJ Raw Deluxe.
Yeah.
But this thing's blocking your face off. Man.
Yeah,
You
no,
gotta-
I know. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Nepalese prayer beads.
Yeah.
But yeah, me inside a picture of me playing inside a picture of me.
Why does that guy have like one less arm? He's like an amputee.
That
You
was
or what?
that was my.
Oh, let's see.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, before I got my
Well,
prostate.
welcome, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
welcome.
thanks for having me, man. Honestly, it's
What
great.
are we drinking today, guys?
You can do the drink intro. Seeing that you did the intro.
So this is straight out of Germany. This is Jägermeister. It's made of deer's blood and goodness.
Tears, blood, and goodness.
Yeah.
That's what we're drinking today.
I'm excited for it.
If
Actually.
they ever want to know how we get so strong, we just drink deer blood and goodness.
What are you guys
And we're
drinking in
sipping
between
on the-
shots?
On the BBC, otherwise
Yeah.
known as the
the Rubia.
The Rubia.
blonde. The funny thing is, we're drinking a blonde big black cock, which is really weird. That's like an
Yeah.
oxymoron, isn't it?
Well, you could dye your
Say
pubes.
that. Yeah.
I might
Or you
try
could
that
have a
out.
black
I might try
condom.
that.
I mean, I've
A black condom.
that's how I use that.
You've used a black condom?
Yeah.
Yo, I've got a hair. What do you call that thing? A shave cream. It's
Yes.
supposed to have charcoal, and you squirt it out. It comes out black, and then you put it on your head. It turns white.
Really?
Word up, and by Nivea, in case you want to know. And
Magic.
that really happens.
We need a sponsor. We
So-
need
Who do you want?
Go ahead.
Shave
Go
cream?
ahead.
No, let's stop talking about BBCs and shave creams and things that go from black to white and all that.
Yeah.
We have you here today. We wanted you here. You literally just touched down.
Just got off the plane, man.
And rolled straight here.
Do you know what I mean? I rode straight here to have some drinks and some podcasting.
Yeah,
then I'm going to Balvin after this.
J
I mean,
Balvin.
this is how I roll, actually.
I'm telling you, we're putting it out there, by the way, because J Balvin's name keeps coming up. He is going to be sitting with us and talking about his home city at some point.
Yeah.
It's not confirmed yet, but it's confirmed in our minds.
Yeah.
Have it in our minds.
It's a law of
Dude, like-
attraction. We're trying to attract it.
Yeah. So if you see him tonight and shit, just put him
might-
in a
yeah.
headlock and
I can make it. If there's anyone who can make it happen, I'm one of the people I feel like can make it happen.
Jesus makes everything
Yeah,
happen.
it's true.
So
Just believe in me.
One of the reasons we wanted you here is because of one, obviously we think you're a cool dude and you're made for podcasts. But also the fact that you said you introduced yourself as a few things other than Raw Deluxe. You said the online tax man.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people here, like myself, are from other countries. We've got a lot of people from the United States that are living in Medellin. And we don't even know if they know what the tax implications are.
Yeah.
And I think that you can help people to understand some stuff about taxes without putting them to sleep.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really big topic for anybody else that's out here.
Totally.
So hit it up.
Well, how long have you been working as a CPA or a tax business?
Man, so if you want to get the full background, I started this business roughly 10 years ago. I used to work in accounting in New York. I worked in finance. Then all of a sudden, 2008 hit, like the crisis, etc. Everyone around just lost their job. I mean, I still had a job, but it was just kind of, pretty crappy at that point as far as what I was doing. Then I moved down to Argentina just because I had some friends down there. And you know what? It was just one of those like kind of eat, pray, love. Like I just want to get out of New York and just see what's what. And
How
then
old were you?
I was 28.
28. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in Argentina, listen, I was there learning Spanish, just really kicking it, having a good time. But obviously at that point, like, well, what am I gonna do? I mean, one option is just, hey, go back to New York, get the accounting job again, or see what you could do on your own. And so at that point, I was doing some tax on the side. I'd always kind of done that as a little side hustle, even when I was working at PwC and in New York. And I was down there and I saw the need for expat taxes. Basically, you had all these expats there that didn't know what they were doing with their taxes. They're Americans. They're, even like local Argentinians, but had some U.S. businesses and stuff. And no one knew what to do. And so that's when I started the business Online Tax, man. Just literally in a department solo. A few years later, I got my business partner. We built it up. Now I have about 10 people on the team.
Wow.
And and we basically do taxes for Americans abroad and also people that want to maybe invest in the United States, immigrate, open up a U.S. company, et cetera. And then also on top of that, sort of like offshore structuring, and not in sort of the Pablo Escobar money laundering way, but there are a lot of strategies to optimize your situation by, setting up an offshore company or bank accounts, asset protection. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it, right?
Yeah.
But the point is that it started just a dollar and a dream.
Yeah.
And then here we are just doing tax in
Deluxe in
Medellin.
it.
That's fucking awesome. That's real motivating, man.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of people asking or thinking, like, do you have a brick and mortar place or is this all digital?
No, it's all digital. And I at first, again, when I was in Argentina and I was thinking about going back to the States, I was gonna do one of these Liberty Tax offices, and then one of my friend's moms is a mentor. She was like, listen, why, if you could do it all online, then why not? There's less overhead. You build. I mean, at the end, you just build a really clean website.
Yeah.
You do really good, as you guys know, like SEO marketing, affiliates, SEM marketing, and then just give people good service.
Yeah.
Word gets around and people will refer you, right? So that was the magic sauce.
And these 10 people congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
I think that's the dream. That's people beating themselves up to get to even to the point of doing what you're doing. And these 10 people, as Andrew asked, it's not brick and mortar. It's people working. How many countries are these 10 people split?
Yeah, they're around the world. I mean, we got Brazil, we have Ukraine, Spain, Costa Rica, India. I mean, they're.
And what are their qualifications? Are they?
They're all either CPAs or EAs.
Okay. What's
So
an EA?
EA is enrolled agents. So
Okay.
basically, they're sort of they have to take a test to become it, with the IRS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you said you're from where? Where in the U.S. are you from?
I'm from New York.
New York City.
Yeah, yeah, New York.
Not like uptown, like Ithaca, or not uptown.
I'm not uptown
upstate,
Ithaca,
upstate.
but I went to New Rochelle High School, home of the
Okay.
Brave, which is
The Brave.
Yeah.
Shout out to them, man. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I bet none of them are rolling around the world doing taxes.
No,
No.
not really. Actually, a lot of people are just chilling at home.
Walmart.
CVS Pharmacy,
That's
actually.
cool. Oh, CVS.
You know what I mean?
CVS
Yeah.
is great. CVS. Walmart never made it.
Yeah, exactly. Walmart.
Slanging them drugs.
Free pharmacist.
Let's get the first shot.
All right, let's do this
Let's
first
do it.
shot.
Boom.
All
Yo,
right,
cheers.
boom, cheers.
Vincenzo.
Salud.
Cheers. Thank you for being
Yeah,
on.
man, Cruz.
So, and what I guess Argentina, how did you make the flip from Argentina to
So
come here?
listen, I mean, I was living in Argentina, and I mean, honestly, even to this day, Buenos Aires is still one of my favorite cities in the world. I mean, it's
Yeah.
vibrant, it's fun, like they party, the food is great,
Yeah.
etc. So I was in Buenos Aires for about 4 years, but like around year 2, roughly 7 years ago, I would always leave Buenos Aires in the winter time because they do get a pretty harsh winter, or not harsh, but it gets cold,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, all right, and then my buddy Jake the Snake. He was here, Medellin. So like, what a cast of characters that we all have.
When
we
Jake
have
the Snake comes back, we want you on the podcast.
Yeah,
too,
Jake the Snake needs to
Big
be
up.
on the podcast
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
one of the originals.
He's the one.
Like you guys.
He's one of the dudes the first dude that I knew on Colombian Cupid that had the script.
Yes.
He was the original script man.
You know what? He put me onto the script so hard. I mean, I lived with Jake, so
Yeah.
I was friends with Jake from Argentina. He just he moved up here,
Yeah.
and then I was like, you know what? Like, let me come here for a 3-month stint, like summer, like July, August, September.
Yeah.
So I lived with Jake, and that's when like Medellin 7-8 years ago was so
Oh,
different.
yeah. Was that up
And,
in Bosque de Plata? Were you living in Bosque de Plata?
I was over. No, I was over in by Oviedo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when I just saw it, right? And listen, after living in Argentina, I was in Brazil for a while, and then sort of seeing the juxtaposition of like those countries that are awesome and cool, but like really just going down the drain.
Yeah.
And then, just coming here and just seeing all the good stuff that's happening here with the expats, which is sort of.
So you just want to throw out the big words like that on this show, like juxtaposition? I don't think anybody's used a word bigger than 6 letters.
Yeah,
Honestly, you
exactly.
come with juxtaposition.
I keep it real
Yo,
simple.
Felipe, please throw up the definition of juxtaposition for me and everybody else that don't know what the fuck that means at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. Juxtaposition is a contrast between two very different.
That was sarcasm, Vinny. I knew
Yeah,
what
I
goddamn
know.
juxtaposition
I've
was.
explained it for the simpletons out there.
Simple-minded. Yeah.
But yeah, listen, I mean, I came here and I was like, wow, like things are really happening here, right? And
Yeah.
so, I would, continuously come back, a couple months out of the year. And then, obviously a few years ago, I sort of made this my full-time home.
Okay.
And then
Wait, full-time home.
it's full-time, but then it became part-time.
Is that because you bought a property? Why did you call it your full? Because every time, I don't know about Andrew, but when I see stuff pop up on social media or something, you're always somewhere else.
It's true.
You come into
True.
like a J Balvin
I-
concert, you're gone. Tomorrow we're gonna hit you up for some light drinks. You're gonna be in
it's
like
true. Okay.
Italy.
Exactly. I'm in Japan now.
Yeah, that is
It's
legitimately
true.
how it is.
No, it's a fair point. So, I mean, basically, I was living here for a few years, and then I've kind of decided, like the last 2 years, to sort of do a 6-month stint here, and that's for 2 reasons. One is because for a long time I was doing the TP7 visa, right, which is a visa where you open up a company and you sponsor yourself.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I never used the company. It was a completely dormant Colombian
Yeah.
SAS. And so after a few years, as you know, Alan
Yeah.
was like, listen, honestly, if you try renew, you can, but it's just a waste of money because at that point, and I think supposedly they've gotten a little tighter here on visas.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? So A, I don't, the visa thing became a little bit of an issue. And then B, the whole thing is, and this is not enforced yet as much, but, potentially being here for over 6 months a year does open you up to worldwide taxation by the Colombian government. And as a taxman, that's the last thing I want to do is fall under that
Right.
that break. So I play the 6-month game here.
But you do that because it's advantageous for you to be taxed in the United States?
I
or
do
what?
it because I don't want to be taxed here because the tax rates are pretty high. We're talking roughly like 35%.
Yeah.
So I do have real estate here, which, some people are just sort of like under the radar and, you know what I mean? Like they could kind of be here and like the government's probably not going to get them. But like, I have bank accounts, I have assets here. So, there's that potential risk
Yeah.
that they could try and leverage my assets here to get me to pay a tax bill.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
And that's actually one of the big things, I think, like some of the questions that Andrew had to ask is because we figured there's many different tax situations, and you touched on a few. You said you help people who are basically living here and have income in the U.S. or wherever else.
Yeah.
You help people from here, they're trying to go there or trying to invest or trying to do business in the U.S.
Yep.
I think, and Andrew saying that some of the people that are listening to this, obviously everybody's not a business owner.
Sure.
But I know a lot of guys that we meet, they're doing this type of marketing or they're doing some startup and they're working out of here. What is baseline the rules in the United States for being taxed?
Here's some considerations.
Yeah.
So one is, so if you're an American living outside the United States, you can potentially earn up to $105,000 that's tax-free from the U.S. government. Okay? You're able to qualify for this, which is called the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion, by being outside the U.S. for 330 days in a 365-day period. So meaning you can only be in the U.S. for 35 days.
Okay.
Or you claim bona fide residency in another country.
Okay.
Right? So you move to Colombia, you live in Colombia, you have a cedula, you have a bank account, you have a visa, you have a long-term lease. And if you have, 3, 4, 5 sort of pieces that are your quote-unquote fact pattern that say, hey, I'm not living in the United States, I live in Colombia, then you could qualify for the foreign earned income exclusion and earn up to
But you're still getting taxed in Colombia.
Yes and no, right? Technically you should be paying tax in Colombia, right? Some people do that. Some people sort of, roll the dice with that. For me, obviously...
Roll the dice, huh?
Roll the dice.
Yes.
No, I'm obviously more
with the IRS.
concerned on the, the U.S. tax side.
Yeah.
And if they, again, have the fact pattern to qualify, then we file them under the foreign earned income exclusion.
But you're saying, does this person, are we assuming that this person is earning income from in the U.S.
Right,
basically,
so
not living in, but earning in the U.S.?
Yeah, so that's an important point. So you can, as long as you're living in Colombia or anywhere outside the United States, right, and you're physically working outside the United States, then you would qualify. So meaning you could be employed by a U.S. company, you could be getting a W-2 as an employee, you could be an independent contractor getting a 1099, you could have your own business, U.S. LLC, S Corp, whatever, and it could be literally from a U.S. company to your U.S. bank account, but because you are physically working outside the United States, you qualify for
because you're not producing that income
Right.
in the U.S.
And then it could get a little tricky. I'm assuming that, let's say that you are working or as an independent contractor, because I'm assuming that most of the people that listen to us are independent contractors or digital nomads or whatever. You're working for clients in the United States, and then let's say that you get a client here in Colombia.
Yeah.
That would be also included in your tax
that would
return.
be included in there. And that's where you sort of get into, well, like if you have some Colombian clients, maybe you pay tax on the Colombian side, and you know what I mean? Like, so,
right.
I see some people, and listen, this is sort of, anecdotal evidence, and like, I'm not here to give, tax advice, especially on the Colombian side by any means. But, some people, like, they sort of, go with the approach of, let me pay a little tax in Colombia to appease that government, but maybe some of the other stuff in the U.S. I don't report here. That's what some people do. Yeah. Some people, fully report here. Some people don't report anything here. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, that's sort of, what them and their Colombian accounts do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it could be wherever you're earning from. It doesn't matter. Because if you're living in Colombia, then you don't have to pay U.S. tax.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay U.S. state tax. That's another thing. So, states like California, Massachusetts, Virginia, those are some of the countries that are states that are a little more aggressive when it comes to taxing you. But again, so it's a big, obviously not only just the cost of living here and, the fun factors and the good people and everything else, moving down here does save a lot of money on your taxes. It's,
okay.
And that's why I've been able to, buy property here and stuff like that. When I was living in New York, it was just paycheck to paycheck. Literally when I first got to New York and I was in debt because I had to, pay like all this money to get the apartment in New York City, with the security deposit, this and that. I was eating like bologna sandwiches for like 6 months, in the corporate office.
Yeah.
But you don't need to do
but
that here.
I feel that we're dealing with a situation right now, which it's, you come down here in that way. If you're making income in the United States, you come down here, you get, you're not in there for the 35 days or whatever. You're not getting taxed there. So, you could be hopping around and really you're not paying anywhere if you're hopping around. I think where legally, this is what I want this answer is that legally, if you pass the 6-month mark, and there's no hiding, you should be paying. You then become a tax resident
that is correct.
Of Colombia.
Yeah.
So you can choose to, what was it? You use the word like to get around it.
Yeah,
you can
listen,
roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
I mean, or take an aggressive approach.
Yeah, take an aggressive approach.
But again, like I said, you're completely 100% correct. If you are in Colombia for over 6 months, you are a tax resident here, and Colombia taxes on your worldwide income, not just your Colombian income, your worldwide income.
Yeah.
Right.
We're so scared of taxes, man. We declare.
No, I know you guys.
We declare PayPal. Anything that's coming from anywhere has to be done.
That's the approach. Like I said, and that's why I was sort of on that. Well, listen, I love Colombia a lot. It's my home to me, but it's also I'm cool with leaving for 6 months and. Just bouncing around and doing my thing.
I'm not really cool with it, but if it comes down to this, if I gotta be out of here for 6 months for the next 2 years, and we can put aside a way more money, because if you calculate the minute you make anything sort of significant, if you're paying 35%, 35 for the non-mathematic people, that's for $100,000. You're giving up 35,000 of that.
It's more than a fourth.
Gone.
More than a fourth.
So it's something that we're considering. We're obviously going to talk about after this, but
So that's the only other sort of tax consideration I'll say, right? Which is, for the non-Americans that are in the room or listening, the other thing that we do a lot of is we open up U.S. LLCs. And so U.S. LLC, so for people that don't know, the U.S. is one of the biggest tax havens in the world for non-Americans, right? So you can open up a U.S. LLC, you could have a U.S. bank account, run all your U.S. clients, credit cards, everything through that U.S. bank account. And because you're a non-American, you don't live in the United States, you don't have any employees in the U.S., no office, warehouse, what have you, then you don't have to pay tax in the United
unless
States.
if it flows through to like your local country or whatever.
If it flows through to Colombia or your local country, then obviously
then you may be dealing with
it's a perfect situation for a non-American who wants to be the true definition of a digital nomad, meaning you're not spending over the 6-month cap. You just hop over here, then you go to Greece, then you go to whatever.
Right.
And you don't really have to declare anywhere because you're not a tax resident.
Personal income tax,
exactly.
But
the personal income tax is like 15%, something like that in the US, right?
No, but as a foreigner, you don't even have to, if you're not,
have to pay
like,
anything.
if I'm Canadian.
Right. So that's what you skip out on, is not having to deal with that in the US.
Zero. You could technically not pay taxes, but you just have no real home.
Right.
So once you're comfortable with not having a home, you could be making a lot in your thing and just hopping around.
Yeah,
but like
around.
me, I'm not. I'm a non, like,
my business. I mean, there's other stuff too, right? I mean, it's also like, if you're from Canada, for example, you have to give up your Canadian residency.
Exactly.
So then sometimes there's countries that offer like residency programs. So like Panama is a good one because that's a zero tax one. The Republic of Georgia, Cyprus, so there's a lot of, like I said, I mean,
Mauritius.
Listen, it's a little bit of a game. It's kind of like this sort of go where you're treated best sort of scenario where these countries are trying to attract people to come and be residents. And you have to sort of know, your home country, right? Like, the U.S., Canada, like, how you have to play it with them, how you're going to have to play it with the country which you might be a resident. And just, like I said, I mean, just honestly not to plug help, but like, get a good tax accountant or lawyer. Get even a couple of opinions and
I 100% agree.
it's not anything to be taken lightly. It's serious.
It's not.
Because
it's
you
like
save a lot of money, man. I mean, it's like, my whole thing is everyone's all about like, business owners like, oh, I want to, go and spend all this money on AdWords and this and that. But like saving money on taxes, I mean, that's like playing defense, right? You know what I mean? And if you could save a lot of money on taxes, I mean, you could spend it on, yourself, investing, your business, etc. But like everyone's all focused on going out.
Offense.
The offense.
But defense wins championships.
It does. Yeah.
On that note.
Dang. Here we are.
Cheers.
Who would have thought we'd be applying basketball to taxes?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess another layman type question that I hear a lot on some of these like expat forums and stuff. Like, so let's say I'm an independent contractor, or maybe I'm hired by I'm a W-2 employee, but I also do my side hustle.
Yeah.
And now I'm making more and more and more money. Maybe I've hired some people in India or even in Colombia locally. Now I'm making more money as an individual in the United States. When do you recommend for someone to actually open up a U.S. entity in order to take in that money? Is there like a certain amount of money that someone should be making?
As a non-U.S. person or something?
No. As a U.S. resident.
You know what? Opening up a U.S. entity is sort of like, it's like formalizing your business, so to speak, right? So, for example, opening up an LLC doesn't really have any sort of tax advantages. It's more of like the formalizing your business and also sort of the liability coverage, right? So if someone wanted to sue you, they could only go after the money in the LLC and the bank account, none of your personal assets. The next step and this is only for Americans or U.S. residents, is an S corp, and that's not to get super technical, but basically under an LLC you would have to pay income tax and then self-employment tax like Social Security, Medicare. Under an S corp, you can selectively take a salary, and then that salary is subject to self-employment, Social Security, Medicare, but the rest of the profit from the S corp is not subject to that. So basically, I sort of say, well, if you're making, call it like $30,000 a year net, maybe you want to think about switching to an S corp. But until then, an LLC is completely fine. An LLC is a lot easier from a tax return perspective. S corp, you have to do a different tax return. But an S corp, again, so anyone who has an LLC out there that's making $30K, living in the United States, they should actually really consider an S corp.
Okay,
that's the bottom line.
Right.
Have you had? I mean, that's great for those who are watching.
Well, I guess I'll clear it up a little bit, because for me it was a little confusing, and then I obviously worked with with Vincenzo, and he explained to us. So for an LLC, someone that's not a U.S. citizen or resident, is a foreigner from the United States, you can actually set up an LLC.
Yeah,
you can set it up, and you could be a sole member of that LLC, and have that company receive money from clients in the United States. But if you want to switch over to an S corp, you cannot be a foreigner. You have to be
exactly. So like LLCs
citizen.
are only good for, LLCs are fine for everybody, but like foreigners take advantage of the LLC. But if you're an American and you have your own business and you're like, okay, well, I want to formalize, I'll do the LLC. That's great. Start with the LLC, and then when you get to that point, then you could switch over to an S corp.
Bigger money making.
The bigger money, and then I'm just to throw another wrench in it. The other thing that we do, and this only applies to expats, so you have to be outside the United States, but you can even set up potentially an offshore company in a Hong Kong, a Singapore, British Virgin Islands, Cayman, wherever, and you can, take $105,000 tax-free salary, and then that's not subject to Social Security and Medicare tax, which it would be if you were taking a salary from an S corp. And you could get your effective tax rate down to 10.5%. So like that's sort of like big boy level stuff.
That's big boy level stuff.
And this is really, this is what the Googles and the Apples of the world are doing. Mm-hmm. That if you are an online entrepreneur, and you're at that threshold, and you qualify under a lot of other things that we don't have to get into. But if you're ready to make that leap and you're fine, if you're living abroad, then you could take some. What
do you think is like that threshold dollar wise when you would say, hey, go offshore?
Sure, we put it at around like 200,000 net income.
200,000 net. It's time you look for an offshore.
And like I said, you have to be living offshore. You can't have any U.S. employees. You have to have. It can't be just like a one-man person. You have to have employees. But that would be where you could start thinking about that.
Right.
All right.
So, getting into more, going deeper in the waters. Let's say that I have a U.S. company, whether it's an LLC or an S corp or even a C corp, and I want to hire a Colombian. How would one do you deal with that? Do you see people deal with that?
Yeah. If you want to hire a local contractor, then you're not responsible for paying any sort of withholding tax on them. because again, they're living outside the United States, so they're not subject to U.S. tax. You do have to get a W-8BEN form, right? So you the only thing you have to do is sort of get an IRS document that they sign. It's sort of between you and the contractor, just for you to have that for your records in case the IRS were ever to say, hey, what is this payments, whatever. And then you say, I have a Colombian contract.
Right. Okay.
So, so you want to make sure you get that document signed by them. But other than that, there's no other implications.
Okay. Yeah,
What type of, have you noticed any, here in Medellin, obviously you've got clients all over.
Yeah.
All over. Has anybody, obviously we don't need the specifics of who the person is, but has anybody ever gotten in a shitstorm with the IRS while maybe they didn't give you all the information or anything happened to someone outside?
None of my clients, man. You know what I mean? Because everyone comes to me, or not everybody, but people come to me when they're already in the shitstorm, and then they're looking for like the problem solver.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's why it's like, if you're a little proactive, it's sometimes like it's like irreparable. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, if you should have just come to me when you needed help, like in the beginning, right?
And if they're in the shitstorm, you're like, nah, man, I can't do anything
no,
right now.
not necessarily. It just depends on the kind of shitstorm they're in, and like, and what's the risk on my behalf and how much time, and do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big believer just business in general, on the 80-20 principle, right?
Yeah.
Like 80% of your problems come from 20% of your clients. So I'm sort of in that notion of like, if I see somebody's going to be problematic, and you could kind of tell, I just won't hire them or fire them. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's sort of my thing.
You think a lot of these people here in Medellin, a lot of people, would you say 80% are legit? Meaning like the way they're running their business? Are they above, are they above the line? Or are they doing a lot of shit? Or there's people
what,
here,
honestly,
not talking about your clients. I'm talking about in
sure.
general. Because we meet, I'm going to tell you this, I don't know, maybe the landscape's changed.
Yeah.
But I remember, I'd say 2011 to 2015 or 16 here, when I think we were more involved in the expat community and stuff.
Right.
You listen to people, you're like, yo, this is a shady motherfucker.
Yeah.
This is their business that they have, or the thing they're starting and whatever. I'm like, I often found that here, like, I think there's people that are just,
here's sort of let's be honest. Here can be a breeding ground for, some underground. Yeah. There's a shady underbelly of the city in general. And so, you sort of, there are some people that do come here. And it's, a place like here, I see a lot of people, for example, even in, like, I got clients in China, like China has this sort of, shadiness.
Yeah.
Any countries where it's a little bit acceptable for like lie, cheating, and stealing, in the local community, the expat community will also sort of have those sort of characters and will attract those type of people. At the same time, like, listen, we've been here for a long time. Like, Medellin has attracted some really heavy hitters. There's been some really smart people coming here. Mm-hmm. And, it's a good breeding ground. But there's also a lot of people that are,
shady.
shady.
And so your website is what exactly?
Onlinetaxman.com. So if anyone needs a free consultation, feel free to just come to onlinetaxman.com. There's a form you fill out. It's pretty straightforward. And or email us and contact at onlinetaxman.com.
One more time slowly.
Sure. Onlinetaxman.com. So.
Yeah. So if I'm here in Colombia, let's say, and I need to set up an entity in the United States, I can just talk to you and you guys set it up. Do I need to go back to the U.S. to sign anything or anything like that?
You would. We could set up the full entity. You would need to go back to the United States for a bank account.
Okay.
There are online bank accounts that we could open up for you. But if you want to get like the true brick and mortar bank, the Citibank, Bank of America, then you do have to travel to the States in order to.
Well, that's and just so people know, the background is to Vinny's company is the one that set up. I was sitting right here at my desk when you guys set up the company in Delaware.
Yeah.
And then I did eventually have to go set up that bank account.
Yep.
That was the thing. And again, my situation, for all the Canadians that are tuning in, is not the ideal situation because my dad would testify to this. My love for Medellin has fucked shit up, because if I didn't, I would be in a perfect tax situation.
Right.
Because I declared non-residency in Canada. So Canada can't tax me. They're not interested in me because I've been out of the country for 172 days, I think it is, in Canada. Yeah. The company's set up in the US. And if I were here for less than 6 months, Colombia can't tax me.
Right.
Right. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there's a pros and cons. We have our business here, which is brick and mortar, and we have employees.
Yeah.
So we can't just like necessarily take off. But ideally, like the Canadians, I would say like that's my advice. If you can do it and you can work online, is you're out of Canada for 170 days. Apart from losing your free healthcare, I would say give up your residency from a tax perspective. Open a company in the U.S., especially if you've got some U.S. like a client or two, and then just travel around for a couple of years. And the amount of money that you can just put away without paying taxes is significant, and then settle down.
Yeah,
you know, unfortunately, that's not the way our cards sort of were dealt, but that would have been the ideal scenario.
No, I mean it's totally true, and like I said, it's easy. The U.S. obviously is a great place to do business. It's easy to open up the bank account, and I mean it literally is the best tax haven in the world for non-Americans.
All
right. Well, rounding off the business thing, because I could literally have so many. You saw how many I wrote there, but we're not going to get to all of them. Let's say that I'm an independent contractor or even a small business. What software would you recommend that I use to keep track of my income, expenses? Do you give that kind of?
Yeah. So like QuickBooks and Xero are sort of the go-to bookkeeping softwares. So yeah, I mean Expensify is really good. So Expensify is an app, so you could literally just like take a picture of a receipt, and you know, especially if you're doing like a lot of cash receipts, etc. Right? So you take a picture of the receipt and it'll scan it and sort of import it. But QuickBooks and Xero are sort of the best bookkeeping softwares from a standpoint of they will, you know, connect directly to your online banking and sort of import all the transactions. So it's pretty seamless.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my two.
And I guess finally, is there any advice that you give someone on the business aspect or tax aspect, just rounding this off?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, listen, you know, if you optimize your tax setup, I mean, you have a lot of, you know, chips to play with, and just seek really good advice. You know, it's something. It's sort of like, you know, don't be penny wise and pound foolish, right? I mean, you know, pay for the advice and figure out, you know, what the best strategy is for you, because at the end, in the long run, you know, you're going to save a lot more.
I mean, just even having this discussion, man, we've talked about it before, where we're like at, you know, a little house party. And this is stuff that conversation you get into in Medellin, coming back, because this is about the Medellin podcast. Yeah. I mentioned it on other episodes, is I think this type of conversation we're having, you don't just, I mean, you're in those circles because you go to Argentina and you're probably the circle sort of, it's like the Gringo Trail in a way. Yeah. When you follow business people and stuff. But usually, even when I was on the corporate grind in Toronto, the thing would be like, how can I get a nice return, like a little return? Yeah. I wonder how I could get what can I claim to get like a return? When you start moving around and stuff, it's time you're forced in a way to be an adult. Yeah. Meaning you now have to figure out how to not pay a government or many governments all your money. Yeah. It's no longer like, what can I get back from the government because they were charging me at a fixed rate on my paycheck. Yeah. You now have to be responsible. It's a whole other adult level of living life. So as much as you're like, yeah, you know, these guys are around there, they're on boats, they're doing this, they're flying here to live in whatever. You got to make your own damn money, most likely, unless like you're a programmer working for some company or whatever. Then two, you're responsible. Yeah. Like there's no, and I think I heard some judge say it one time, I was sitting in a court and she told the person to like, I don't know, ignorance is not an answer. Yeah. It's like, you can't claim ignorance. Yeah. When the tax man comes for you here, and you know, you said they're rolling the dice. Yeah. At any, and I advise this to foreigners. We talked about this on other episodes too. I think the Colombian government, and even here in Medellin, love to make examples out of foreigners. Big time. It's better than making an example out of a local. Yeah. So a local could have been evading $9 million in taxes per year. Yeah. You won't even see it. It'll be maybe in the back page somewhere. Yeah. One foreigner comes here and they're, you know, avoided 100,000 or whatever, and they didn't pay, and they're the enemy of the state and of everybody here, because they're going to make the front page of the newspaper. So and maybe it hasn't happened yet, because I don't know of a case of it, but when it does, it's gonna come down hard.
No,
So just be careful.
That I agree with that, and they are coming down on with the whole visa thing. I mean, they're sort of linking up like the Dion with the visa, the immigration to sort of track people's days. And I mean, it's coming. I mean, let's be honest. Like, it's. I mean, the Dion doesn't have all their act together, but like they know who they want to target. I mean, they see everyone.
And the Dion's like the IRS, by the way.
The Dion's the IRS of Colombia. So it is something that you do need to take serious. Like I said, get some really good local advice here. Go to maybe even a couple of Colombian tax accountants or lawyers. You're probably going to get, probably 4 or 5 different answers. Everyone's going to be different. But like I said, go to the person you feel comfortable with, that is qualified, that you could sort of gauge their level of expertise and rely on them, right? Because ignorance is not an answer. I mean, you might be able to get out of a situation because you relied on a professional, right? That's another aspect that, you could potentially pull that card. But if you're just here, not filing and just not caring, then you're in for a little bit of a rude awakening. When you get stuck the next time you come into the country and like, oh, you've been here for 180 days, or you know what I mean, you're 183, and what's up? So like I said, I mean, it's coming.
Okay. All right.
Be aware.
That's excellent tax stuff.
Awesome.
Be scared.
Be scared. Come to Colombia and be scared.
Yeah, be scared.
Video. How did we meet? I don't even remember how we met.
So we met. 2012, I want to say.
Was it?
2012, July, Astorga Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Medellin Entrepreneur Society. I remember you two. There was Brent Mariello. There was Rich Holman.
Rich Holman, yeah.
Jasmine and Dwayne.
Jasmine and Dwayne. Alan Gongora.
Alan was there. And Conrad Agusa.
Yeah.
And I think
Glenn Lubin, too.
Wait, is that pre-Man Bun?
that was when the Man Bun was first forming.
You know what, man?
I set the Man Bun standard.
And you have not lost it.
And I haven't lost it.
I lost my Man Bun.
Right. You know what I mean? I keep on going.
Bun. But I was thinking about that today and I was chuckling, laughing to myself. I'm like, this motherfucker, he is not letting go of that.
No, man. It was like, in or out of it came and went.
Yeah, keep it
and
going.
I'm still here.
Did you have a beard then? I don't know if you had a beard.
No beard.
You were more polished.
Yeah, I was polished. I was still... Yeah. I was still trying to, maintain some level of respectability.
New York tax guy looker. Yeah. Okay, cool.
You know what I mean?
And so what do you think, like, I mean, you've lived in and traveled a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. How many countries have you been to this year? The year is coming to an end.
You know what? I don't even count, man. I would say that I've
20. 20, okay.
This year,
at least, yeah.
All right.
I mean, 20. I would say I always go back to my old haunts. You know what I mean? I would say like my number is probably around 80 something as far as like all in.
Wow. So you're nearly all. You've nearly been to all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 100.
It's like 10 left.
No.
It's like 92 countries in the world.
No, man. There's more than that. There's more than that.
Can you please pull that up on your Google?
No, there's like 100 some. I think
there's over 100
countries in the world.
Yes.
I thought there was 92 countries in the world.
Because I'm like
92 countries in the world.
I'm missing a lot.
I thought it was 114.
Check it.
No, I think it's...
Man, this is Medellin podcast exposing ignorance around the world.
Ignorance is not an answer.
Yeah, ignorance is not an answer, young man. Hell yeah. So you've been about 20. And what honestly, other than the property, what keeps you coming back here, man?
The people. Do you know what I mean? I mean, listen, I mean, Medellin, and even just the fact that I've seen this place, just come like up after so many years. I mean, and then you literally, every time I come back, I'll be gone for, a couple weeks, couple months, and then there'll be just like some new restaurant or something new here. Do you know what I mean? And so it's amazing, to see how much the city's grown since we've been here. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's just bonkers.
Yeah.
I was wondering why he's sitting on the shot count. I mean, what we had, like 2 so far?
I saw that you went to Burning Man.
Dude, Burning Man.
Was that the first time?
When are you guys coming?
Maybe next year?
Do we have to wear the little fucking Speedo like you wore? I'm like, I don't know if I'm a man.
It's not obligatory, but it's recommended.
Yeah. I wish can we have permission to pop the Speedo photo up on this podcast?
You can have all permission.
Yeah, with arrows pointing down at the package.
Was that the first time you went to Burning Man?
Dude, I'm a 3-time burner.
Okay.
I'm going back.
Burner?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
That's what they call it.
Burner. Carlo was just at Burning Man.
Yeah, Carlo went to Burning Man too.
Dude, Burning Man, it is...
What's good about it?
That place is just, it's another planet, okay?
Really?
You could get anything you want there. I mean, I'm just talking about just like any experience. I mean, there was at one point I went to a sex slave auction, and a sex slave auction. And people were literally just, auctioning themselves, and people would be like, yeah, I'm going to give you a massage with pancake batter. And then, at the end of the massage, we're going to give you steak and wine. And then you could watch us, have sex and make a porno with us.
And what does that cost? Just in case I want to do an investments.
Listen, Burning Man, everything's free. That's the best
No,
part.
but to go to Burning Man, it's free to go to Burning Man?
No, sorry. It's not free to go to Burning Man. And Burning Man, right? It's a whole barter system. You can't use money.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Okay. It's complete barter.
So what are you bartering?
You're bartering, your body for cigarettes. I mean, no, anything. No, everyone's giving out stuff, right? So basically what happens is, so you do end up, buying the ticket. You either, bring all your food in, or you pay to be a part of a camp. Rough cost could be, call it like 2,000. I mean, it could be I would say minimum 2,000 for like just the camp and the food and like costumes, etc.
How many days is that?
A week.
A week. Oh shit.
Yeah. And but once you get inside there, I mean, all these sort of like camps and have themes, right? So again, one is sort of the sex slave camp. One is the orgy dome. One is sort of, the foot washing camp.
So it's a sex fest.
It's basically
a sex. I haven't heard anything else all about this.
Sex and drugs in house. No,
Sex and drugs in house.
Or rock and roll.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's just, I mean, there's like, people like, there's a tennis court. People come in and set up a tennis court or like a roller rink.
It reminds me of Mad Max.
Yes.
The movie Mad Max.
Yeah.
When I see photos,
no,
I'm like,
everyone
like,
just, what I mean, stripped down.
Yeah. And so, what's the closest thing in Medellin or in Colombia that you can compare? Nothing.
It's not even worth talking about.
Really?
You know what I mean? I mean, listen, and the people. The thing is this: the energy is so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're talking to random people, like what I mean. Everyone's just like in such a good mood, just such a giving mood, and like I said, I mean, everyone's just giving out like drinks, food, hugs,
booty holes.
That's included.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just it's beautiful there.
Cool. Maybe we gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, anyone. It's just like the sort of thing that you have to do once.
Better
in your
than
life.
Carnival in Brazil.
Yeah.
Better than Carnival.
Better
in Brazil.
than Carnival. And I love Carnival. I know you guys are Carnival connoisseurs.
Yeah, the Colombia Carnival.
Yeah, but still.
Have you been to the?
I've been to
Barranquilla.
I've seen them. I saw him and Jake the Snake one year.
What about this year? You going or 2020?
I'm gonna be. I'm doing Brazil again, man.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm a Brazil Carnival.
Yeah,
guy.
we'll be in Barranquilla for.
Maybe we could Skype or something.
But you know what? We're actually thinking of going.
We'll FaceTime.
Carnival.
How's your party go?
Yo, maybe we should. Has anybody done that? Has anybody done like the FaceTime circle of car? Because I got people in Trinidad and we record.
What about New Orleans?
Yes,
That would be the
And we have
so
everybody
good.
dial in at one
That
point.
would be amazing.
And we do a podcast at Carnival.
Bro, it would just be straight belligerent nonsense. I'm sober as hell and I just mentioned booty hole like 50 times. I don't know what'll happen.
There would have to be just like just translation at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Beep, beep, beep. It's just like a long beep.
Yeah, well, we're thinking about going to the festival, the Vallenato Festival in Valledupar in April as well. Yeah, if you're down
Dude,
in April, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go
let's
for
do it.
sure.
You heard it
Let's do
first.
You heard it.
I'm in it.
It's, you into traveling. I made I referenced it twice, but with you just agreed to another thing. You'll be in like China and you'll be flying in here to go.
So it's true. But the one thing I travel for, this is part of my mantra.
Yeah.
I travel for events.
Okay.
All right. You know what I mean? That's why I'm going to Burning Man, Carnival, the J Balvin concert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like to
that.
go, Art Basel, whatever. Like I like to go to just cultural, art, whatever events.
I got a suggestion for you.
Tell me.
You should hit up. Oh, but it's April also, or 1 April. Put it. Go to Mexico's biggest festival. It's called
really?
the San Marcos National Fair. Most foreigners will never hear about
When's
it.
that? In April?
It's usually around April.
Right.
And
Shit. Well, we might have to change our plans
May.
here.
Yeah, we might.
April, May. It's May.
May. I
Maybe
think
we
it's
could
May.
do both.
Dude, May looks good for me. I would. Yeah.
So basically,
we could do April Vallenato Festival in Valledupar, and then go to Mexico for San
we
Marcos,
out of business by June.
and then be out of business by
June. No, we just gotta shut down the shop.
you just gotta delegate.
But
You
bro,
know?
I went. I bet that was 2011, and in the entire, and it might have changed by now. But at the time, I saw 4 foreigners
Really?
in a span of 9 days. And I remember one guy, he spoke no Spanish, and he was there with like his girl or whoever. And this man he heard me speak English or say something, and he went, "You speak English? You speak?" And he's like hugging me in the middle of everyone, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" But it's like,
Where is it?
Aguascalientes.
Okay.
It's like the smallest state in Mexico. It's about bus 4 hours from Mexico City.
Okay.
And it's a lot of like traditional music, and they still do some shit that I don't agree with. They still have like the bullfights and that type of stuff.
Right.
But the music is like banda and like norteño music. But when you're a foreigner, everybody wants to like dance with you and pull you into the circles, and they're drinking these massive like liters of like a drink called Copa de Nada, which is just like a random bunch of shit. And it's like it's just amazing because there's no one else like you there.
Yeah.
And it's
Dude,
just
those are the
really
best,
Mexican.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I love going to the places where I'm the only foreigner there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you're just you're the token.
Do you still get that here in Medellin?
What?
That feeling?
Nah, like not
at
since, man. That's the thing. I mean, when we were here, right? Like, and that was one of the beautiful things about coming. Well, I mean, especially in Poblado, right? You'd be walking down Poblado, like Avenue, and people be like, "What? Like, what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now,
I used to be the only black guy in Poblado.
yeah.
I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Boom.
I was. It was me, and then Dwayne came with his half black self,
Yeah.
and he sort of like watered down the market a little bit. But I was the only one. Now we mentioned
Now
we
you
see
got
groups of guys.
the black kids on the street.
Yeah.
You got the black bachelor parties that are coming in town.
You got the black kids on the street. You got the black bachelor parties.
Those kids weren't on the street back then.
No, they weren't. They weren't. They discovered that money's in.
They're smart.
Andrew's
They're
trying to get me drunk. It's
To the
like
black
fuck,
kids.
Black kids.
Black kids.
So
But I mean, here now, like
nowadays
the token is not. I mean, you could go to like some of the barrios and it's a little bit. You're kind of special.
yeah, but what the fuck are you gonna do in a barrio?
Right. Then you just get shot, maybe. You know what I mean?
Or robbed.
That's why I grew out my black and gray beard, because there's no other black
Right.
guy with that here. That's the
Yeah.
only way I could distinguish myself now.
The Pueblos. You could go to the Pueblos. And
Yeah,
still get
then
some
you're a
respect.
token there, yeah.
Gotta move out to a little
But you
town.
you gotta really find it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Which is whatever. It's tough, but it's doable.
Yeah. But I mean, like you go to,
Or go to like Choco.
but
where
even
I'm going.
even when we go to Carnival,
Yeah.
there's more foreigners now than ever
Yeah.
at Carnival.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But you, Kyle, you guys, long hair, blue eyes, whatever.
right.
I still see the women and just people in general want to take photos and giggling and smiling and stuff.
Yeah.
Me, they pass me straight. I just look like
Right.
everybody
Yeah,
else. But
whatever.
you guys still, in other parts of like the coast and stuff, you still laugh, but you still get a lot
I mean,
of attention.
I appreciate the paparazzi.
Where's your number two? Is Medellin your number one, or where's your number one? No, Medellin people, don't kill him. Where's your number one?
I mean, listen, they're all. I mean, I'm about Medellin, Brazil, and Argentina on like a three-way tie.
But where in Brazil?
Rio
Rio.
de Janeiro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rafi just went out to Florianopolis, right?
Florianopolis is nice.
Yeah,
Florianopolis is actually really nice.
Okay.
It's like cold half the year, like, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, Florianopolis is nice.
Let's talk a bit about, and one of the things I want to talk about with you here is also like your lifestyle. Like,
Yeah.
when you come here, you come for events. I know you didn't come only for J Balvin, and if you did J Balvin,
Yeah.
give us some airtime. This man came from, where were you?
I was in Nepal. I came all the way from Nepal.
He was
come
chilling with
see.
monks.
You know what I'm saying?
Right?
I was finding enlightenment in Nepal, and then
Yeah.
I get a text, "Hey, we have a J Balvin ticket for you." And I'm like, "Well, enlightenment can wait. Balvin coming to Medellin. That's
That's
you know
what I'm
saying?
talking about.
That's it.
Enlightenment can wait.
Enlightenment can wait."
Balvin is in Medellin.
I got I got like
t-shirt.
70 plus years. No,
Yeah.
not that much,
Yeah,
but still,
yeah. You got that to
I
go.
got some time.
You can get enlightened later.
Yeah. You know,
I gotta
that's
start
a,
living like that.
That's
man.
a process.
Once again, our business will be out of business by June. if we did that legitimately, we'd be shut
Yeah,
down. But
no,
but I like that. We should do that
yeah.
like a micro version of that, Andrew.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
totally.
go to a club. Just start with just like do something normal.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but what do you think for somebody who lives your lifestyle? Again, not hopping all over, but when you're
Sure.
here, let's say you're here for 2 months.
Yeah.
What does a month cost more or less to you in US dollars to live nicely, like however you live?
In Medellin.
Yeah.
So monthly costs. Listen, I mean, first off, I live rent free here, right? Because part of I do the whole real estate thing, and I rent out rooms in my penthouse, so that sort of covers my cost and then some. So, I mean, rent is generally $500 to $1,000 a month, which I don't pay.
Yeah.
And then I would probably say that my living expenses here are $1,000 if I'm really balling. Do you know what I mean?
Monthly, but yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe like I would say for anyone like 1,500 to 2,000.
Right. For living expenses,
living
apart from
expenses.
rent. Unless if you want to live in like a penthouse.
The 2,000 would include the rent. If you,
2,000 would include the rent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
2,000 US. That's good.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
And you're living in a nice spot.
I'm living in Poblado. You know what I mean? Like
You
in this
eating
spot.
every meal out, or what are you doing?
I do half and half. I like cooking, but I like eating out
Italian,
like on the
like
weekends.
some pasta, some linguine.
Yeah, man. Do you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
full
Yo, did we
on.
ever do the jerk chicken?
No.
Yeah. Right.
We still haven't done
So-
that.
I
So
do
when is
wait,
jerk
every
chicken?
time you leave, I cook.
Right. Yeah.
I literally
that's the
cooked jerk.
excuse.
I literally cooked jerk chicken this week.
Right.
Took it downstairs.
Oh, we did. Just had jerk chicken for Thanksgiving. Sorry, I weren't here.
I promised the man some jerk chicken, and I haven't come through on
Yeah.
that.
That was like
yet.
2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, it still is. So how long? How long will you be? So
here
are you
for-
flying out after Balvin tonight, or are you going to be
No,
around?
actually,
for a
I've
bit?
decided. I've decided to stay here. You know, for a couple weeks.
Okay.
You know, month of December.
How about this? Oh, Jesus, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but usually on Sundays now, I
Okay.
try to do a Sunday cook.
Sunday
and
Friends
and
Day.
I get ready for the rest of the week. So
Yeah.
I'll try to throw down some
Dude, I'd
jerk
love
chicken.
to. I'd love to eat that.
I was saying if they could open a jerk chicken and a curry like Jamaican style restaurant
Yeah.
in Medellin, I know at least I'd say 25 people that would eat there every day. Right?
You know what? And that'd probably be it because paises hate spicy food.
Yeah.
But
But the foreigners.
But the foreigners will-
will look for that.
no,
Yeah,
honestly,
the 5% of the population that's
Yeah.
foreigners will go there.
Yeah.
So you'd be out
I mean,
of
look
business
at
in 2 months.
and it could be like look at like Pollo Mario, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? That guy has like the most simplest chicken or like
Yeah, it's just roasted chicken, that's
roasted
it.
chicken, but it's delicious.
It is.
And everyone from Estrada 1 to Estrada 6, rich to poor,
We'll
love
order that.
go to
Yep,
Pollo Mario.
That's true. That's
Do you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah, but when I was thinking about a jerk chicken, I was
Is it delicious? Because I think that they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
Well, maybe half and half, right? Like
Yeah,
people
I think
don't
it's,
know
I
what
think
they
it's
don't know.
nostalgic for people because Pollo Mario has been around since like the 90s. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's more that sort of like,
I was born in 98 and
right, you know,
Ever
like
since.
You were
yeah.
born in 98?
98.
88.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
good.
I was born in
I was
98.
like, bro, you better be using
I
some
was like,
anti-aging
man.
creams and shit. Coming up looking all rusty like that. You born in 98.
Looking like a fucking
God
old man.
damn, man. It's like,
All right.
you got to help your friends. Charity begins at home. We can't
No,
be out there
sure.
helping people on the street
Oh, it's
corners.
keeping it real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
Keeping it
So-
real.
Yeah.
Vinny, I know you're a white man.
Yeah.
I know that because I looked at you.
Yeah.
And when you're out here, for those of the, for, I guess, our male viewers,
Yeah.
what's your experience been like with women out here in Colombia?
So listen, it's been interesting. It's been interesting, sort of.
What?
What did you say? Wait, he said it like 4 times too. He said, "Hey, where's?" I was.
I really had to think about it. I was by myself talking.
It's been interesting.
But I never heard someone fuck up a word and repeated it exactly the same 3 times.
Maybe Mike Tyson does that.
Yeah, you and Mike.
Who has
You and Iron
serious
Mike.
brain damage.
Iron Mike and Tough Deluxe, or what is it?
Raw Deluxe.
Raw Deluxe.
Tough deluxe.
I love to. Yo, dude, you and fucking Mike Tyson a freestyle battle. That's for
Tough deluxe. All right.
Deluxe.
Tough Deluxe.
So what's been real interesting?
No, listen. I mean, it's so my point is, I've dated, you know, in Argentina, Brazil, you know, Colombia. Like now I'm taken, so it's interesting, sort of being like, you know, the taken guy.
Yeah.
But even, you know, when I was plowing through South America in my single days.
Oh, you're a farmer.
Yeah. I was. Yeah.
You was just plowing through
Plowing through
something while I was plowing
On
through.
my-
Wait,
on my plow.
by the way, wait. This is what I love about this podcast is how
my
in the
God.
first 5 minutes he was
Cheers, bro.
talking about juxtaposition. Now he's talking about plowing through South America. Farmer Brown,
Farmer Brown. That's our new
Talking
client.
about juxtaposition.
juxtaposition. So yeah.
But I mean, listen, it's been. I mean, first off, you know, like I mean, in Colombia, it's like you're no longer token. You know, which is always and what I've heard, you know, it's gotten a lot more scandalous here as far as like the scopamina and people getting set up or whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Being
I'm
taken
actually-
advantage of.
yeah, exactly. So I'm glad I'm not like, you know, in that whole mix. But listen, I mean, I think Colombian girls in general are some of the most like, you know, from a girlfriend / like they take care of you perspective. Again, even compared to like the Argentina girls or the Brazilians, they really, really, you know, give it their all.
And act like
You know
your
what I mean?
mom.
They give it their all. You know, really just good girls that will like, yeah, just treat you like a king and you know, they'll give you more than you will give them, so to speak. Like, yeah.
I describe it as my perspective is that, I've dated many cultures, women from different cultures.
Yeah.
And I think that here, my analogy is they love hard and they hate just as hard. So when the loving is good, the loving is good.
Yeah.
But if you cross them or
If
you
you
break
cross
up or
them,
you fall out, you got to deal with the
it's
exact
scandalous.
opposite. It is.
It's scandalous.
It is.
You know what I mean?
You see the most sane person,
Yeah. Like,
So recently I've stepped out of my boundaries. I've started seeing someone that's over 25.
right.
Yeah, and that's it's a very different game.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about dating someone that's over 25? It makes me feel old, first of all, but I am old. I'm 38. Second, I think, I don't know. Someone that's 30 years old and that is a female and that is not in a long-term relationship or hasn't had a long-term relationship in the past could be a red flag, right?
Yeah.
Could be a red flag.
Right.
So I don't know how to feel about it. It's something that's different, and it's not like official, but I'm gonna try to pursue it because it's new for me.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm 38 years old. The youngest person I've ever dated in my life, even in California and in Colombia, I guess the oldest person was 25 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Honestly, because you know what? Like, well, first off, you're right. If they haven't been in a long-term relationship, that's red flag. But at the same time, I mean, dating people under 25, like, you got the sort of like baby sort of, you know what I mean? Like
pack their lunch and
yeah,
stuff.
you know what I mean?
for
Like,
school.
I think the optimal dating game is really 25 to 35.
Oh, really?
Because
Oh
that's-
yeah, for sure.
Hey,
That's where
there's
people
a whole untapped
they have
market for
they
me.
have their stuff together. They're not relying on you.
I agree with that.
Do you know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with
Like
that,
you're
100%.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like under 25, like sure, like fun, hot, whatever. But yeah, you're not.
but then you still have
but
to
they
give them
rely on
lunch
you.
money
Yeah.
and
Yeah, and I'm used to that. So this girl, I bought her her drinks and stuff, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean I'm doing?" She's like, "I'm not used to guys paying for me and stuff."
Sure.
I'm like, "Dang, that's crazy."
If I may interject, I used to think that this was a crazy statement, but when I was like a kid or a teenager growing up,
Back in the
I-
1800s.
yeah, I used to
Or
ask.
98,
I used to
98.
ask. I used to ask adults who were born in the 1400s, what's the best age? Because I was just curious, and the most common answer is always the 30s, because early 30s, because they tend to say that it's like you still have to some extent like the energy and the stamina of being young, but the budget and the
Yeah.
wisdom of being older.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
That's something you used to speak to some mature people, because what I used to say when I hit 30, I was like, this is fucking great because I can go 10 years up and 10 years down.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
You'd be like, I date a 21-year-old,
to be fair, like you guys hated me for saying I'm 30 plus years old, which just means I'm 31.
Okay.
Like a couple of podcasts ago.
Yeah.
But honestly, I personally I feel more alive than ever right now.
At 31?
Yeah.
Okay, you got a long way to go, man. I
Yeah.
hope.
Oh, wait, 30s is a good. 30s is probably the best decade.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Fuck
let's
that,
be
man.
honest.
Mine's done in like
mean,
a year.
yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Jesus.
I'm not 40
I mean,
yet,
but like
we'll
you
figure
know,
it out.
40 is the new 30. Do you know what I mean? I mean, so
40 is the new
We
30.
don't know till we get there, right? We don't know till
Yeah.
we get there, because
I mean, it's all kind of relative to where you live, right?
Right.
So, for example, like I have friends in Chicago. Like my boy just moved from Chicago to New York, and like so I'm 37, right?
Yeah.
So he was in his 30s in Chicago, and he was like, man, like they sucked because
Yeah.
like. And Chicago is a 20s city because it's like post-college, and then, everyone gets wifed up and married by the time they're 30. So
Yeah.
then you're like the old man in the bar and club when you're in your 30s.
yeah.
In New York, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like 30s and 40s, like you're straight because,
Yeah.
I mean, there's everyone
Right.
just out hanging out. Like, the age is not, you could be 40 in the club and it's not weird.
So,
Medelllin's kind
Yeah.
of like that. I mean,
right,
you
yeah.
got
I
older
think so,
people
yeah.
coming through. Like,
yeah, and I
a
think
lot
the
of the progressive
local,
cities.
Yeah, but the local people usually get wifed up or
They get wifed
or
up.
a kid
But it's
up very quick.
gringo, right? Which
Yeah.
is obviously who we are.
So, asking you, I've got a two-part question.
Yeah.
One, do you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Fluently, or is it?
Paisa.
It's eres
Hablo
paisa,
paisa.
pues.
Yo soy casi paisa.
Ya, más paisa que la arepa.
Yeah, that's one of my. You got don't. No one steal this joke because everyone will now. But I'm always like, oh, si hablas bien, sí, soy casi paisa. And I still get fucking mileage on that joke. Like, you, like
Casi paisa.
10 years later, they're like,
Casi paisa?
Yeah.
Casi paisa.
Yeah.
I always say that I am más paisa que la arepa. Más paisa que la arepa. And then if people get tired of that, I say soy más paisa que la mazamorra.
Ooh,
Like,
what is mazamorra?
Mazamorra is like this.
It's milk and corn, dude. It's the worst tasting
No,
shit.
it's not milk. It's the corn. When you boil corn, there's like a milk that comes out of that.
I thought it was actual milk.
It's not milk.
It looks like milk.
No, it's like the claro. They call it claro. And sometimes you just drink that too as a
it's called
as a
that,
drink.
and I'm with that shit.
Yeah, it's not
like
good,
pollo
but it's
from
super healthy.
Mario
It's
Brothers
super
or
healthy
what the
for you.
Yeah.
The best type of mazamorra is when they put the panela in there, panela, which is sweet, so it makes it taste sweeter, and then you get the chunks of corn, which is good. You're talking to a vegan, so it doesn't matter.
You're vegan?
Yeah, I am.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
How long?
It's been over almost 2 years.
Shit,
Yeah.
really?
2 years.
Has it?
No, not 2 years.
Over a year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really?
over a
You're
year. yeah.
vegetarian for nearly
Oh
2
yeah,
years.
yeah. Vegetarian
Okay.
over 2 years
Wow,
and
that's
vegan
awesome.
about a year or so.
Didn't you notice he's slimmer and trimmer?
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Dang, you didn't even answer. That's some fucked up shit. You're supposed to say yes.
I've been eating
or
more
no.
of
You
that.
just looked. You sized him up. I hope we
like-
could have zoomed in. You went like this. I'm like, does he look slimmer? You looked him up and down and said,
Well, you know I have been.
Fuck,
you know
really?
I have been eating more.
I don't listen.
Jesus.
I'm not into fake shit. You know what I'm saying?
I know, I agree,
I'm the
but-
type of guy like when they come to your table at the end of the restaurant, they're like, how was your meal? And if something was wrong, I'm like, that one was like a little bit mediocre.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm like that.
That was great because everyone's always like, oh, it was great. And they're like, no, like that's. Just keep it real and shit.
So what you're
like,
saying is that
you look
I'm
good,
fat.
but yeah, I don't think you're like lean and mean. You look good though. You know what I'm saying?
you look good. You look good.
I didn't realize you. No, it's great. I dabble with being a vegetarian at times.
That's cool. So,
You know
So
you're
how
not-
many?
I don't have enough willpower.
Yeah, let me
to be
ask you a
like full
question.
Vegan veg.
You ever
Okay.
you dabble in the parenthood? How many kids you got around this world?
Dude, there was one night in Bolivia.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Jesus.
Do you have a
Christ.
Bolivian baby?
So you have
The
like
tallest
all these
Bolivian
sort of,
in the
like-
world.
Yeah,
You made the
I'm
tallest
waiting-
Bolivian.
I'm waiting for like that phone call 20
did.
years later.
Yeah.
Where it was like,
Or no, you back in
"Oh,
Bolivia
yeah."
chilling out there, and then you see like a shorter, smaller,
Yeah.
square version of you, but with the same face.
Yeah.
That's be fucked up,
Dude,
man.
it'd be
You-
fucked up,
oh
man.
my god.
so
that's
my
crazy.
two-part question was:
Oh shit.
you speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So how do you meet people out here?
Um.
Let's say you were new to the city.
Yeah, right. Listen, I mean, I'm somebody that like even I went out to Salon Amador last night. And I
To where?
To what?
Salon Amador.
Amador, yeah.
And just like
I thought he said Salima la Malekam.
Yeah, Salam is like Muslim. This man went away and came back. Nation of Islam.
yeah, totally.
But no, okay. So you were at
But
Salon
like
Amador.
and I met like through friends. Like I meet people, etc. I mean, I think listen, when you're moving to a new city. I think you really need to put yourself out there. Now, I'm naturally an extrovert, so
Yeah.
it's obviously a lot easier for me.
You don't say.
But yeah, ooh. But I think it is sort of putting yourself out there now. Honestly, like with the Facebook groups, and like there's another, Dynamite Circle. It's sort of this like
the
digital nomad community. So for people that are just sort of trying to enter Medellin or another city, I mean, it is sort of putting yourself out there.
Is that
like
what
the
you do?
Facebook
Like, okay, so
groups,
this is Medellin,
that
and
sort of
for
thing.
those other people, like, let's say you were gonna rock up to Nepal.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
I-
Tinder for monks or whatever
Right.
the fuck they got out there. But what do you you're like? I'm first time in Nepal, by the way.
Monkinder.
You roll Monkinder.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you suggest? Like, because this is gonna be global.
Yeah.
Well, you rock up to a new place, Bangladesh.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Bangladesh.
What are you doing in Bangladesh
I
to meet people?
honestly, I post on Facebook. I think Facebook is just horrible, but there are uses out of it. So
Whatever
for me,
happened to Facebook?
I don't know, it just went to shit.
Yeah.
Except it's really good.
Woo! Yeah.
Killing it, Smalls.
Cheers.
Tell me,
Cheers.
Smalls. Yeah. Referring to Sandbox. We're all Sandbox,
Sandbox,
fans out
yeah.
here.
Yeah, man.
Michael Squiggs Palidorus. Anyways, go ahead.
Dude, so Facebook for me, there's two reasons I use it. One is for travel.
Yeah.
So I literally will post, just do the random post. Hey, who has tips, contacts, whatnot in Bangladesh?
Yeah.
And then random people hit me up on stuff.
Yeah.
And then I use Facebook for business and answering like tax questions. But like as far as rolling up, straight up Facebook, Dynamite Circle, because there's just people everywhere in that
I
community.
think that was the group that our last one of our last guests, Drew Crawford was in.
Yeah, Drew's in, I think.
Yeah, he's in the dynamite circle.
Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's better when you're sort of like, connected to people. And I mean, I'm lucky enough. I mean, I've traveled so much that I just know people anywhere, or, like people like I was just in Vietnam, and it was the same thing. Like I posted on Facebook, I'm in Vietnam, what's up? And then this random guy that I met at like a wedding 2 years ago who used to live in Vietnam hooked me up with his homies, and like,
that's what's up, man.
You know what I mean? We had a night out.
Right. That's cool.
But that's some grown ass shit. And I think again it's the evolution. The evolution of a traveler, the evolution of call it the digital nomad, because I bet you didn't like these are sort of like hacks.
Right.
But there's ways like there's people actually live like this.
Yeah.
Like the holy man himself. And but for real, like if I were now starting out, when I was now starting out, I didn't know shit. I didn't even know that couch surfing. I didn't even know if couch surfing still exists. I might be aging myself.
Couch surfing's actually still up
going
in there.
strong.
But I'm not trying to go live on nobody's couch. Now it's the
but there's
Airbnb
like
game.
meetups and whatnot.
No, and you can rent a room through there.
Couch surfing's actually still like, sort of a secret. Yeah, that's a good play.
Yeah, but they've had like some problems though, like girls getting molested and stuff.
Right,
And
right. But they have like meetups.
I put
and
up our
whatnot.
thing on couch surfing. No one's come and molested me yet.
I've randomly messaged people on couch surfing. See, I'm not gonna sleep on anyone's couch, but I have messaged people on couch surfing, saying, "Hey, like I'm in here. I'm here. Like you're going out. Like I don't want your couch, but if you're going out, like I'd like to go and know the city.
Fuck your couch, bitch.
You know what I'm saying?
Rick James, bitch.
So that's a good one. Yeah, couch surfing, because that one, couch surfing in particular, and this is a big believer in traveling in life. It's all about pay it forward, right? You know what I mean? So couch surfers are all about like, I've been crashed on someone's couch, so someone's gonna hit me up. So like, I'm gonna take them out, and just introduce them to my friends, and show them a night out. So that's a good one.
I think we get like, for those of us who don't travel as much, like, and people be hitting you up, they're like, let's hang out and whatever. They show up, you're like, man, fuck, I got a job and shit to do, and you get a little more like insensitive to it. But if you actually are traveling, and like, let's say you just went to Vietnam, and this dude dropped his shit to like, and you had a wicked night. And you went out and whatever. When you come back home and somebody else hits you up, you're way more sensitive. You'll be like, yo, I know what it feels like.
I always hook people up.
Yeah, and I
it's
think
not like, I'm not gonna go on a Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's like, I'm always gonna like, if I'm gonna go out, especially here, right? Because it's not like New York and some places you gotta be like, I gotta look at like the ratios. Here it's like, dude, I'm coming out. I'm going out with some people. Like, come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could go hang out at McDonald's here and find more beautiful girls than you can find a lot of places in Canada.
Yeah, so I think it's having a blog myself. Like I get a lot of guys that hit me up that, hey, I'm coming to Medellin these dates. We should go out sometime. I'm like, show me around. I'm like, first of all, I'm not a fucking tour guide.
Right.
Second of all, I have a business to attend to, and I can't go out like on a Wednesday night. You know. And second of all, you got nothing to offer me. Like,
see, the random thing is weird, like a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like everyone, like I'd like get introduced to a lot of people. So like, you know what I mean? Like if you're introduced to me, then obviously like I'm gonna take you out. Yeah. Like if you're getting a blog person, then that's a little more sort of like
it's kind of like
tough.
They're not even on your network.
Then they get a lunch, right? Because the lunch
or coffee.
The lunch is like lunch. I mean, for me, it's like a client thing or like a little bit like a test, like an interview. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I gotta eat lunch anywhere. Yeah. So like, okay, fine. Like, you know what? Yo, come to lunch with me, and then like if you're cool, then you could fucking.
It's like dating. It's like dating, but not non-sexual.
But like the best thing that people always tell me is like, oh, I've got these two girls that want to go out. Do you want to hang out with us, or where would we go? I'm like, well, I'm there. I don't care. We go to the park.
The approach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What kind of have you had any crazy experiences here? Like, what's your craziest shit that's gone down since like 2012 or whenever it is to now? Craziest shit, whether it's with dating, whether it's with like a
or
client,
even someone that you know here.
What's the craziest shit?
I mean, one time I was at a party.
Okay.
And so like, all right, so one of the biggest things actually here, correct me if I'm wrong, but like one of my beefs here is that, once the clock strikes 4, like it is done. The party's done.
Once the what?
The clock strikes 4.
So like basically, you're out. Yeah, exactly. And there's no good after parties. Do you know
Except
what I mean?
Palmailla, which is like.
But no, but those are that's the thing, and that's one of my probably biggest issues with Medellin is that after 4 o'clock it gets real shady, and like real sort of narco,
It is.
like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
you don't want to be in
Prepago
those
sort of
places.
thing, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I was one night it was Jamie Jones was here. It was like 2 years ago.
Who's Jamie Jones?
Jamie Jones is like a great like house techno DJ.
Okay.
Like from the UK. Like it was big that he came here actually. And I go out and actually I had a friend that was in from London at that time. So it was so random. So we get in backstage Jamie Jones, it's dope as fuck. Then we go to this like big like party in a finca like in Loma Escobedo. And it was honestly like one of the best after parties I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was the only time where I literally truly saw like the Estrado Seis, like the rich paises and the poor paises partying and hanging out together.
Yeah.
And then here we are. It's like 6, 7 in the morning, and we're like, how do we get to like back to reality?
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of us. It was like just random paisas, like me and my crew, etc. And then all of a sudden, like there's this big like truck that comes out, and it was one of those trucks that like is used to like transport cattle. And so we just roll up on this truck and had this big like dance party
In the
like,
truck?
In the truck with like just manure and like hay,
Ooh, yeah.
and then just like a bunch of like just paisas, just
Yeah.
like partying and
Coming
whatnot.
down back
just
to
coming
Medellin?
down Loma Escobedo at like 7 in the morning.
Wow.
That's fucking.
It was
that's wild.
epic.
That's better than Burning Man.
Yeah, well, no,
No.
but still.
Better than Burning.
But
that's pretty sick.
Medellin, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone was hanging, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that was nuts.
You never had any crazy dating shit happen here that went wild? No, really. Nobody stole your iPhone.
No, man. I don't never get hustled. I mean, I would just say that here is probably like, one of the places where I've had like the sort of the quickest sort of like, hi, meet you, let's go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Within a span of like under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey,
Wow.
you know what I mean? And then like, yo, let's go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I was in the Jake the Snake days.
Jake the Snake.
Jake
Yeah,
the Snake.
exactly.
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Colombian Cupid.
Yeah.
Back in circa 2012.
I wonder
You know
what he's
I'm
doing.
saying?
He probably
It was
got.
a 10-minute. It was a 10-minute close.
You know, Jake's got the inside scoop on the next app that's coming up. Or is Jake
Listen,
like?
man, all I'm saying is, now go to the Philippines. That's where Jake the Snake's at.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
Really?
Yeah.
The Philippines.
Philippines. First off, the Philippines. I mean, I love the Philippines in general. It's beautiful. It's very untapped, like the beaches, etc.
Yeah.
And it's like the Latino version of Asia, right? Because the Philippines was conquered by the Spanish
Right.
for a very long time. The U.S. had they were under U.S. control for maybe 20 to 40 years, something. So they have this sort of like Latino vibe. They got a little American vibe, and it's very just open, fun,
Dang.
cheap as fuck. Yeah.
You suggested a lot of places. We got to go. Burning Man. Well, the top places have been.
So
Brazil?
So
Brazil for sure.
Brazil Carnival, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Burning Man for sure. Philippines, I love in Asia. I'm a big Japan fan.
Yeah.
I like Berlin, Germany, as far as like music and you know.
But you're
weird-
into techno and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
I'm
that
not
sort
into
of
that.
stuff. Or like house music.
I
You
don't
didn't
like-
spin that
I
when
don't
you
like
were
house.
DJ.
What when I had this shirt on and
Yeah.
I
What were
took
you?
some
Where were you?
pictures?
Where were you spinning
Hip-hop.
there? Hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'm a
talking
hip-hop
about.
head,
Some
really.
hip-hop. I'm a hip hop head. to
Yeah,
the
I mean
core.
through and through,
I would
man. I grew up
rather-
in New York, so
Yeah.
What type of advice? Somebody's coming to Medellin. One of your boys is going. They hit you up. You're in one of the other 94 countries. I don't know how many countries there are in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope he did his research. But and they're coming here. You can't unfortunately be here to let them surf on your couch.
Yeah.
What type of advice you giving them for when they're here?
Listen, I would say first I would say, you know what? Stay in Poblado, but leave and go to the barrio, right?
Yeah.
So like Buenos Aires, even like Laureles, like, really sort of get out of Poblado. Because what I feel like is a lot of people come in and they get stuck in like the Poblado bubble. And
Right.
you know what? It's cool to like live in Poblado and, live in like one of these sort of, shared like, apartments where, you can meet some people, etc. But really sort of get out of Poblado.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, and just go and meet people, man. I mean, people are like, there's a lot of expats here at this point. You know, there's a lot of meetups like the Spanish class thing and the digital nomad meetup. So if you really don't know anyone, like you can meet people easily because there's that many people that are sort of like on their own, you know, solo traveling tip.
Yeah.
That are trying to meet people.
Who would you say are like the you said there's quite a few heavy hitters. Anybody you think that in the years you've been here that's really made a difference to the city that you know have been foreigners?
All right, last shot.
Yeah, we got to.
We got to do the last shot. You got to divvy that little. Oh gosh, you poured it all into your cup.
Yeah, I want Vinny to hit us with another one of them word remixes he did the other day. What was that?
The other day.
The other
day. It's been the same day.
The other hour. The other half hour.
Well, you know,
Hey, why you gotta go to J Balvin conference?
Conference.
Why you gotta go to J Balvin conference?
It's the
When
conference.
we when
I have
we
a
could
conference call with Jay. I'm gonna ask
yeah, I
him.
mean we could be hanging out, man. I mean,
Dude,
like, what
we
the
could be
fuck? You gotta go
hanging
to
out,
a pre party.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you guys come to the conference?
Dude, the conference. I know. We got,
Yeah. 350.
Let's go.
I would
then.
do that still, but we got friends like Juan Cano. It's his
Oh, yeah,
last
it's his
day
last
in
day
the
out
country.
here. Yeah.
He's going to you. Well, you like Berlin, so you'll probably see him over there. You
Yeah,
guys
he'll be over there.
yeah. Well, yeah, he's gonna
Yeah,
go.
he's
with
leaving.
I'll see him at the Kit Kat Club and the
At the Kit Kat
the
Club.
weird,
Man,
the
we're
weird,
on a
weird,
different-
the
you
weird
speaking
sex
about
parties.
the
Yeah.
Kit Kat
Weird
Club.
sex parties.
Weird sex parties on the Medellin podcast. Juan's breaking his little Kit Kat.
So you said that there were many
Yeah.
heavy hitters out
No,
here.
sure.
Have you met any, or do you know any
No.
heavy hitters that are out here?
Like biggest change. You've seen them when they started, you know, like they started from the bottom, now they're here.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I would say this. I've seen a lot of people that have come through that, you know, just have connections or trying to do like legitimate things here, right? So we talked about, you know, there's a sort of, you know, there's a lot of the sort of the shady side of the expat community,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people that are really trying to do things. I mean, make change when it comes to, you know, giving back.
Yeah.
So even like, I mean, what I was trying to do and what we're trying to do with giving solar energy to Colombia, and I know you guys came out and supported me
Yeah.
at the charity event. So people like that, and we're doing a lot with that, with the whole cannabis hemp movement that's coming here.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of just interest and money coming here for that. And yeah, I mean, even just some of these retired expats that I've got to know. And part of it is because of what I do as a tax accountant,
Right.
I get to meet a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of see the whole just gambit of people that are coming here. And like I said, I mean, there's a lot of people that are coming here that are smart, that are trying to give back because they have some time on their hands. And I think the biggest challenge for us, you know, as longtime vets, or even the people, you know, listening or out there that are, you know, just new or just coming into the community, is trying to bridge the gap between the expat scene and the local paises scene, as far as, you know, the startup stuff or the, you know, nonprofit side.
Right.
And you know, I think there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And I mean, that remains to be seen.
But
You know what I'm saying?
I think moral of the story for that is, though, and for a lot of people is I would say start local, then go global, meaning start with your neighborhood. One of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to clean up this neighborhood.
Okay.
Like you might see some signs and stuff that popped up today, got those printed out and whatever. And if you want to give back, like sincerely, like today alone, 2 people mentioned, because I was talking to them and actually a neighbor of ours, and they're like, holy shit, man, I can't believe like somebody that like you're not even from here.
Dude, that's
you're trying
it,
to
though.
clean up this whole place, and you're worried about people coming and taking a, you know, piss in front of our place. And they're like, man, fuck, let's talk. And you know, and we have like hard things to just keeping a place clean.
Yeah.
You clean it, you pay for it to get cleaned. The next day you come back, there's garbage all over it, and
Yeah.
you're pissed.
Yeah.
And then there's either one, you throw in the towel and you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be here to use shit and whatever.
Yeah.
You keep doing it. You do it your small level
Yeah.
until you can get to the bigger influence. And I
Yeah.
hope that, you know, 5 years from now, we all as a group, like the ones that we met in a cafe in 2012, can say
Yeah.
that we're doing something for this place
Right.
instead of just coming to take girls and
Yeah.
like, you know.
Well, and
good
you
weather.
mentioned your charity event. Are you still running that?
Yeah, so basically, just to give everyone the background, so Give Power is a charity organization. It's an international charity organization that helps remote communities, right? So communities that aren't connected to a power grid, to give them energy. So basically, solar power, so that they could obviously have electricity.
Right.
Is that
And so-
Akon's project?
No, it's actually the Musk. So it's basically Tesla and the Musk.
Oh,
So
really?
it's that. Yeah, it's based out of San Francisco. So I was just in Nepal with them, helping them out on a project out there.
Okay,
And
cool.
so I raised money when I was here in Colombia, and you guys supported me, and where they're building, basically desalination and solar energy grids in some of the remote areas of Colombia, so like by Choco,
Right.
On the coast, in the Amazon, etc. And that's something that they're just starting in Colombia, right? And there's a lot of traction out here. So
Big ups to that though. Big ups.
Yeah.
no, man, and big ups to what you guys are doing, because honestly, that is the way to do it here. Is that us as gringos, should be the ones taking initiative, because that is the best way to get the respect of the local community by saying, you know what, like, wow, these guys are actually doing it. Well, I should do it too, because this is my city.
Yeah.
And if this guy's taking the initiative, then, why am I just standing by the sidelines?
Lead by
You know what I'm
example,
saying?
yeah.
Lead by example,
Right.
because, one thing that I've noticed about, it's not just Colombia, but South America in general, sometimes there might be a little bit lack of like compassion. But if you are the one that is leading by example, that's the play. Do you know what I mean? And you're right. It could start small. It could be big. It really just depends on how you want to play it. But like I said, the little things will count. And, as us as expats should be the ones leading by example to show that, we're not just here for the chicks or, the cheap lifestyle or whatever it is. But like,
Right.
we're actually
We're not here to
contribute.
take.
Yeah.
We're not here to take.
Yeah, we're here to
exactly.
give. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I heard
and
that,
like
for sure.
that's the way it works. And listen, I mean, paises are great people. They could be like a little closed at times, but like if you show that you want to like do something for them, because they're proud, right? So if you want to show that you're going to do something for them, like it will come back tenfold, right?
Right.
And it is true, like taking the initiative on stuff like that and showing, hey, like this is in unison, like this is us together trying to improve Medellin, because this place used to be a war zone in the 90s, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
and there's a reason that this place has come up so much over the
Drastically.
years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not just out of luck, because if you look at like Cali and some other places that, also had like the drug issues, there's a reason why Medellin is where it's at. And it's because the local people take pride in that. So if you share in their pride and you help them and show that you want to also dedicate yourself to helping their community, like they appreciate that.
Right.
And that's the way to actually really break into the local community.
I think that's honestly, I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, man.
There's one sort of like, for me, my closing message on this show. We were over yesterday at Metropole, the beer lab, where we hang out.
Right.
And we saw Violeta.
Yeah.
She was on the show, as we now call it, on the podcast, episodes back. And she wore a short skirt.
Right.
And now the episode's not online on the video, because, and I talked to her about it, and I was very, very clear about it. I'm like, I'm gonna be real with you right now, because I'm on that same tip. I don't have time to fucking butter up the fucking situation, whatever.
Yeah.
I go,
You gotta tell people how it is.
Yeah, I'm
totally.
disappointed. I'm disappointed that we had to take down the episode because you were wearing a short skirt for so many reasons, right?
Yeah.
And I told her,
Just
and
for
she
the
said,
sake of clarity, we didn't take down the episode.
we took down the video,
Right.
right?
Wow.
Because of the short skirt.
Yeah.
And what why I want to say this in closing is because I'm sure at some point it started. We only had one so far, like real negative person.
Yeah.
And I don't think she looked at herself and thought, wow, I'm wearing a short skirt. I need these guys to take down the video. From what I understood, it's people in her circle and her friends that called her, like said, you look like a grilla, right? Or like a slut,
Right.
because you're wearing a short skirt. Now, there's so much that's wrong with that. We're not going to get into just like call it sexism.
Yeah.
Because a dude wore an extra tight shirt, no one's going to tell him you look like a goof, but he's
Sure.
not going to take it down because he looks like a slut. Firstly, and I think that's really wrong. But I watched the podcast with Joe Rogan and Jamie Foxx, and it was like boom, like a fucking flash of light.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how being a comedian, right, it's really difficult today. Like you have to monitor everything you say. It's not like back in the day. And they talk about how it's killing the art.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes we're going to say stuff on this show. We might throw out words. Firstly, if we offend a group of people, then yeah, we apologize for that and we'll do it on camera.
course.
But if we say something like a word you don't like fuck or shit or pussy or whatever the words that you don't like, so be it, right? That's the first thing. We can't kill the artistry of what we're doing. And I thought about it. I'm like, I don't want to become Oprah Winfrey in order to do this. We want this thing to be real, as you were talking about.
Yeah,
but
of
my
course.
main point of that is nothing to do with that. It's actually that if you're going to come on and comment about somebody, that they look like a grilla, or you guys are talking this shit about Colombia, or you're using our country with your taxes and your this and that and whatever. I got something to say that Jamie Foxx said, and I hope everyone listens to it. If you have enough time and effort and energy to comment negative shit when we do something negative, I hope to God when we do something positive, as foreigners, as whoever on this show or outside of this show, you have the goddamn courage to stand up and say those foreigners did something good for this place.
Yeah.
And not only when it's something bad.
Yeah.
And that's my closing note on that.
I heard
totally,
that.
man.
I heard that. Cheers to that for sure.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So anyway, Vincenzo, we want to thank you for being on the show.
course.
Before we close out, if someone wants to contact Vincenzo for CPA services, where can they find you again?
onlinetaxman.com.
onlinetaxman.com. Hit them up. You can find the Medellin podcast on Google Podcasts. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify.
And don't forget that you can find Vincenzo in the orgy tent at Burning Man and the slave auction.
At the
Slave auction next
More
year.
than
He's there,
Burning
president.
Man than that. Those are just the craziest places. But yeah.
That's the only thing you mentioned, though. Slave auctions and orgy tents.
Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in, man.
Yo.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you at Carnival in Brazil and in Colombia. And hopefully we'll be out. Where are we going?
No, we're not going to Nepal. We don't
It's
even
like
get
out in
like-
May. What was that thing in May?
Oh, we go to the Mexican place.
the Mexican place.
Aguascalientes.
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 We'll see you guys.
Peace out,
in Aguascalientes.
everybody.
Peace out.
Peace and
Thank
love.
you. Love
One.
you. Woo!